Welcome to my channel, Starlit Discoveries. The story begins as the golden sun melts behind distant hills. You walk through the quiet gardens of the kingdom, feeling the soft hum of life preparing for rest. The princess gazes upward, wondering why the stars twinkle. The air carries a promise that tonight, a story written in light will unfold. The day is exhaling. You can feel it. A hush rolling over the land like a slow breath of peace. The kingdom is wrapped in amber light, the kind that softens every shadow and turns stone walls into honey. The air is warm, the kind of warmth that makes leaves glow from within. Even the birds sing slower now, as though their songs have turned into whispers meant only for the wind. In the center of the castle garden, beneath trees shaped like open hands, the princess walks barefoot through the grass. Each blade bends and springs back, cool against her skin. Her dress trails softly behind her, catching the last golden rays of sunlight. She isn't thinking of duties or crowns, only of the quiet mystery that blooms every evening, the coming of the stars. You can imagine her steps, slow and thoughtful. The garden smells of lavender and rain, though no rain has fallen. The fountains murmur, echoing the heartbeat of a world winding down. In this gentle hour, everything feels aware, as if the stones and the air themselves are waiting for night to arrive. The princess tilts her face upward. Above the horizon, the first faint stars begin to breathe into view, small pinpricks of silver in a violet sky. She wonders, as you might have wondered once, what are they? Tiny candles? Eyes of the heavens? Distant fires that never burn out? She has asked the royal scholars before, but their words were wrapped in numbers and measures, not wonder. They said stars were suns far away, and that space was a kind of nothing. But the princess feels differently. The sky doesn't look like nothing. It looks like forever. Endless, living, and full of secrets that hum beneath the silence. She closes her eyes and listens. The garden is so still that even the fountain seems to pause between drops. Her heart beats in rhythm with the deepening night. Somewhere beyond the castle walls, the world folds itself into sleep. Farmers putting out their lanterns, children nestling under quilts, crickets beginning their chorus. The princess feels a soft pull inside her chest, not a sadness, but a yearning. The kind that comes when you stand at the edge of something vast and beautiful. You feel it too, don't you? That quiet awe that lives in the space between your breath and the stars. She opens her eyes again. The stars have multiplied. Some flicker gently as though winking. Others burn with a steady ancient light. Their patterns begin to emerge. Constellations her mother once traced for her at bedtime. The hunter, the swan, the crown. She remembers how her mother's voice would soften when she said, "Every star is a story waiting to be remembered." But tonight feels different. The stars seem closer, brighter, almost alive. The princess walks to the highest part of the garden, a marble terrace where the view stretches past the hills into the horizon. From there, she can see the edge of the world melting into darkness. The first crescent of the moon rises like a shy smile above the distant mountains. Its pale light spills across the garden paths, turning everything silver blue. You can feel that light, can't you? Cool and soft against your skin, like a sigh that's waited all day to be released. The princess leans on the stone railing and whispers into the sky. Why do you twinkle? It's a small question, carried away by the breeze. But somewhere, in the vastness above, the universe listens. You and the princess share that question now. Why do they twinkle? The answer, when it comes, feels like a lullaby. When light travels from a star, it crosses the great ocean of space, billions upon billions of miles of nothingness. But when it reaches Earth, it meets our sky, a sea of moving air. That air bends and dances and ripples just like waves, and when starlight passes through it, it flickers. Twinkling isn't a star's doing, but the atmosphere's, the Earth's way of turning every star into a candle flame. The princess doesn't know this yet, not in words, but she feels it, the rhythm of light and air. The same rhythm that makes her heartbeat steady and slow. She closes her eyes again and imagines the starlight traveling, patient and pure, across the cold dark of space to reach her garden tonight. Maybe that's what makes the stars so moving. The thought that their light has traveled for ages, all to arrive in this single moment. To meet your gaze. To touch your face. You are watching ancient light. So is she. She smiles at the thought. The night deepens, and the first cool winds drift through the castle arches, carrying the scent of night jasmine. The torches along the walls are lit one by one, small orange flames bowing to the silver sky. In a distant tower, a clock chimes. A deep, slow sound that seems to echo through the stars themselves. The princess breathes in time with it, feeling her body loosen, her thoughts settle. Perhaps, she murmurs softly. The stars breathe too. You can almost hear it, the slow exhale of the universe, the inhaling of light. Every shimmer above her feels like a pulse, every flicker like a heartbeat spread across the cosmos. In this quiet knowing, the princess feels less alone. She senses that everything, the air, the stars, her heartbeat, is part of one great rhythm. The kingdom below sleeps, but the sky above wakes, and together they keep balance, one resting, one shining. You lie beneath the same sky now, don't you? Listening, breathing, watching the world grow still. The princess's world feels far away, but the stars are the same. They bridge the distance between you and her, between now and always. The last of the twilight fades. The night becomes a velvet sea, deep and calm. The princess looks up once more, and in that vastness, a single star shines brighter than the rest. It flickers not with the soft dance of air, but with a warmth that feels deliberate, alive. For a moment, she feels seen, as though the star itself is watching her, breathing with her. A gentle curiosity settles in her chest. She doesn't yet know that this star has a story, that light can carry messages, that energy can become form. But tonight, as the garden glows beneath the moon and the air hums with the music of the earth, she feels the beginning of something. The star pulses again, steady and soft. Its light falls across her face like a blessing, and somewhere inside her, a thought blooms like dawn. Perhaps stars are alive in their own way. The princess lingers there, her gaze fixed on that single point of light. The world around her grows quiet, and time slows to a heartbeat. The fountains whisper. The crickets sing. The universe breathes. And far beyond, where light is born, a faint shimmer stirs, a presence waiting to be seen. The princess doesn't move. Her heart listens, her mind drifts, and her soul begins to reach outward. Tomorrow night, that star will answer. But for now, the question lingers in the soft air between worlds. What if the stars are trying to speak back? As the night deepens, the princess listens to the wind and learns that every star has a heartbeat, a rhythm of birth and glow. Through her gentle curiosity, we explore the science of starlight, how fusion gives stars their warmth and why some shimmer brighter than others. The night sky feels alive, almost whispering her name. The night has fully bloomed. The kingdom sleeps under its silver canopy, and only the wind seems awake, gliding through the garden arches, tracing invisible paths through the lavender and ivy. The air feels weightless, like it's holding its breath. You are here again, walking with the princess beneath the quiet sky. She stands where she left off, on the marble terrace, her gaze fixed on the single bright star that had pulsed in greeting the night before. Its light shivers faintly, steady and soft, like the rhythm of something alive. The princess closes her eyes and lets her thoughts drift toward that shimmer. "What makes you shine?" she whispers. "And do you ever grow tired of burning?" The question floats upward, unseen, but the universe hears. You too might have wondered the same thing. How do stars keep glowing? How can something burn for billions of years without fading away? To answer, we must journey deeper, not through distance, but through imagination. Picture yourself traveling toward that star faster than light. The world around you stretches and bends. The air disappears. The night turns to endless space. You drift through silence so pure it feels like a thought that hasn't yet been spoken. There, ahead of you, is the star. Not a gentle candle, but a roaring sun of energy and motion, vast enough to swallow worlds. Its light floods everything, golden and white, a tide of brilliance that never stops flowing. But inside this radiance, something delicate happens, something like breathing. In the star's heart, atoms of hydrogen, the smallest pieces of matter, move so fast they collide and merge. Each time they unite, they release a tiny spark of energy, not a flame, but pure light. This is fusion, the secret rhythm that keeps a star alive. It is the universe's heartbeat. Every second, a star like this releases more energy than all the fires on Earth could burn in eternity. And yet it does so gently, gracefully, steadily. The princess doesn't know these words, but she feels their truth. As she looks up, she senses the rhythm, the pulse of creation echoing through the air. Her heart matches it, slow and sure. She realizes that the stars do not simply exist. They breathe. You can feel it too, can't you? That faint, invisible thrum in the night air. The pulse of energy that moves through everything, through the soil, through your skin, through the stillness between thoughts. The princess smiles. "So you are alive in your own way," she says softly. "Your breath is light and your voice is warmth." A breeze brushes her hair, as if in response. Above, the stars shimmer brighter, not louder, not busier, but deeper, like a choir inhaling together. In the distance, the star prince is still unseen, his form not yet revealed. But his presence hums faintly through the night, a warmth that seems to come from the starlight itself. The princess turns her eyes toward the darker regions between constellations. "Do all of you shine the same?" she asks. If you could answer her, you might tell her this: not all stars are equal in brightness or color. Some shine with a blue-white fire, young, fierce, and hot. Others glow orange and gentle, their energy softer, older, closer to rest. The color of a star is the story of its temperature and its age. Blue stars burn hotter, living fast and bright. Red stars are cooler, glowing with a calm that lasts longer than ages. Just as people live with different kinds of warmth, the eager spark of youth, the steady flame of wisdom, stars do too. The princess feels the truth of that. "So you grow and change," she murmurs, "just as we do." The wind sighs through the garden, stirring the fountains awake. Droplets catch the moonlight and scatter it like tiny comets. The whole garden begins to shimmer, mirroring the sky above. Stars above, stars below. It is as if the earth and sky are breathing together now, one heartbeat mirrored in another. The princess kneels beside the fountain's edge and watches her reflection ripple. Her face merges with the stars trembling in the water. "Do you see?" she whispers to herself. "They look like they're alive." They are, in their way. For every flicker in the sky is a process of balance. Gravity pulling inward, light pushing outward. Two forces locked in eternal embrace. The moment one wins, the star changes. It grows, or collapses, or becomes something new entirely. This is how stars live, in the harmony between holding on and letting go. The princess presses a hand to her chest and feels her heart beat. "So we're not so different," she says quietly. We too hold on and let go, and for a moment the idea fills her with warmth. That she is part of the same story, the same science written in starlight and breath. The sky stretches above her, infinite and calm. She can almost sense the great spaces between stars, the deep dark silence where nothing glows, yet everything waits. Those spaces are not emptiness. They are the universe's resting places, where light takes a breath before being born again. You close your eyes, and you can almost feel that rhythm, the slow expansion, the quiet pause, the gentle contraction. Like the tide, like you're breathing, like the universe inhaling and exhaling around you. This is what it means when we say the stars breathe. Not with lungs, but with cycles of creation and release. Their light is a whisper of that motion, the memory of their internal fires traveling across time to touch your skin tonight. The princess feels this without understanding why. Her heart is full but calm, her thoughts quiet but bright. She gazes at the same star that called to her before, the one that gleams brighter than the rest. It pulses again, almost in answer. For a heartbeat, she feels its warmth touch her cheek. Not the heat of fire, but the warmth of recognition. As if the star knows her name. Her breath catches. "Do you know me?" The question trembles in the night. No answer comes, but the air around her changes, lighter, warmer. The scent of jasmine deepens. The shadows of the trees sway, even though the wind has stilled. It feels as though the world is waiting for something. You sense it too. A shift in the quiet, like the hush before a dream unfolds. The princess closes her eyes again, imagining the star's light as a voice, soft, ancient, patient. It does not speak in words, but in warmth. It tells her that everything alive is connected by light, that her own body, her heartbeat, her breath, all come from the same cosmic fire that burns inside the stars. Her eyes fill with calm wonder. "So, I am made of light too?" she whispers. The answer hums around her, not in sound but in truth. Every atom in her body, and yours, once belonged to a star. The iron in your blood, the calcium in your bones, the carbon in your breath. All were forged in stellar furnaces long before the Earth existed. When those ancient stars reached the end of their glowing lives, they released their elements into space, scattering them like seeds of future worlds. The princess feels tears rise, though she doesn't know why. Perhaps because knowing she is made of stars makes her feel both very small and infinitely vast. She looks again at the night sky, her heart full of quiet gratitude. "Thank you," she says softly, not knowing who she thanks, only feeling that gratitude belongs somewhere between heaven and heart. A hush settles over the garden again. The stars shimmer with slow patience. The wind folds its wings, and then, from that same bright star, a faint shimmer begins to move, a ripple of light descending through the night, drawing closer, pulsing like a gentle heartbeat. The princess watches, her breath still, her eyes wide. The star's glow softens, stretches, takes shape, not of flame, but of light woven into form. The night holds its breath as the shimmer drifts toward the garden. Something, or someone, is coming. The princess takes a step forward, her heart echoing the rhythm of the stars. The starlight grows brighter, tender, alive, and in the silent air between heartbeats, the first outline of the star prince begins to form. A soft radiance descends from the heavens, a star prince woven from light and cosmic dust. He speaks in calm tones of gravity and time, telling how stars are born from clouds of gas that spiral like dreams. Together, they float through the glowing nebula where all light begins. The garden holds its breath. The air, once cool and still, begins to shimmer as though the world itself is exhaling light. From the sky above, the bright star trembles, and then, slowly, it begins to unfold. The princess watches in awe. The light stretches downward, swirling like a ribbon of dawn through water. It doesn't fall like fire. It drifts weightless, graceful, quiet. The glow touches the tops of the trees and slides down the garden walls until it gathers before her. A pool of living light, pulsing softly, as though it has a heartbeat of its own. You can imagine the feeling, standing before something both alive and eternal. The kind of beauty that makes time slow until only breath remains. The light begins to take form. A shape within the glow. Tall, slender, almost human, but not quite. His edges are made of radiance, not flesh. His hair drifts like a silver mist. His eyes hold the faint blue of distant stars. Every movement feels like a wave, flowing, continuous, unhurried. The princess steps back, not in fear, but in reverence. Her voice barely escapes her lips. "Who are you?" The being smiles, though his face barely changes. When he speaks, his words are soft, like wind across glass. "I am made of the same light that touched your heart." The princess blinks. "The star?" "Yes," he says. "The one you called to. You watched me breathe, and I watched you wonder." The garden glows around them, as though the world itself is listening. The princess takes a slow breath. "You heard me?" He nods. "The stars always hear. Curiosity is like gravity, and it pulls light closer." His voice isn't quite sound. It's something you feel. Low, steady, threaded through your heartbeat. The princess feels warmth rising through her chest, a comfort she cannot name. "I thought I was only talking to the night," she says. You were, the prince replies gently. And the knight answered, for a long time, they simply stand there, one made of starlight, one made of life, the silence between them soft and full. The star prince's glow flickers like candlelight in a gentle wind. When he moves, trails of light follow, dissolving like mist. His presence doesn't cast shadows, it dissolves them. Are you real? The princess finally asks. He tilts his head, smiling with something like amusement and tenderness. As real as light, as real as your breath. She reaches out, but her hand passes through him, warm and cool all at once, as if she's touching sunlight caught in water. She gasps, half in wonder, half in disbelief. He looks down at her hand. Don't be sad, he says softly. Light cannot be held, but it can touch. The words linger, glowing in the air like music you can't forget. You feel it too, don't you? That soft ache when beauty slips through your fingers. Not lost, only ungraspable. The princess lowers her hand, tears glimmering like dew. You're beautiful, she whispers. He smiles again. So are you. You carry the same light I do. You just wear it differently. The stars above pulse gently as though nodding in agreement. Will you tell me where you came from? She asks. His gaze lifts toward the sky. From clouds of nothing that became something, he says. From dust that dreamed of shining. The princess listens, her eyes wide. He continues, his tone calm and rhythmic, almost like a lullaby. In the beginning, there was darkness, not empty, but waiting. Within it floated clouds of gas and dust, drifting, gathering, swirling. Gravity, the universe's gentle pull, drew them together. As they embraced, they grew warm, and in that warmth, light was born. He pauses, looking back at her. That's how stars begin, from stillness, from patience, from the wish to shine. The princess lets his words wash over her. They sound like poetry, but they carry something deeper, a truth she can feel in her bones. So even light needs time to begin? She asks. Everything does, he says, even hearts. Even dreams, she smiles faintly. And you? You came from such a place? Yes, he replies. I was once a thought in the dark. Then gravity gathered me and I began to glow. His voice softens. The same happens to you. Every thought, every kindness, every question. You gather them until they ignite into understanding. That is how humans shine. The princess feels her heart swell. Then we are both made of the same kind of hope, she says. The star prince nods, his glow brightening slightly. Yes. Hope is the force that binds everything, stronger than gravity, gentler than light. They walk slowly through the garden together. Wherever the prince's light touches, the flowers open as though waking from a dream. The lavender hums with color, and the fountain catches his glow, turning its water into liquid starlight. The princess laughs softly. You make everything alive. The prince shakes his head. No, I only remind it to glow. They stop near the reflecting pool. The night sky mirrors perfectly in its still surface, an upside-down universe within reach. Look, he says, pointing at the stars. Every one of them is a home. Each has its own song, its own warmth, its own breath. Do they all have someone like you? Perhaps, he says, a faint sadness in his voice. Or perhaps I am the only one who wandered close enough to be seen. The princess gazes at him, his glow soft against the dark. I'm glad you did, He smiles, and for the briefest moment, the stars around them brighten, as if they too are smiling back. A quiet passes between them. The princess looks into his luminous eyes and feels something shift. Not love, not yet, but recognition. A deep knowing that they share the same origin, the same ancient spark. "You said light cannot be held," she murmurs. "But can it stay?" He looks toward the horizon. Light always travels, but where it touches, it leaves memory. Even when it's gone, what it warmed remembers. The princess nods slowly, her gaze drifting to her hands. "Then I'll remember you." He steps closer, his glow surrounding her like moonlight wrapped in breath. "And I you," he says softly. "You've reminded me what it means to be seen, to shine not just outward, but inward." The words feel like a promise, one that doesn't need to be spoken again to be true. The night deepens. A faint mist rises from the ground, curling through the air like threads of silk. The garden seems half real, half dream, caught between worlds. The star prince lifts his gaze to the sky. "It's almost time," he says quietly. "The stars are calling me back." The princess's heart tightens. "Will you go?" "For now," he says. "But I am never far. Look up, and you'll find me in the shimmer between breaths." She steps closer, reaching again, not to hold him, but to feel his warmth one last time. His light drifts around her hand, like soft water running over skin. He smiles once more. "Listen for the hum in the night. When the air trembles, that is me remembering you." And then, like mist meeting dawn, he begins to fade, not vanishing, but dissolving into the glow that fills the garden. The light returns to the sky, carrying a piece of her wonder with it. The princess stands alone, though the air still hums with his presence. She looks upward, her heart quiet, her breath steady. The star above her flickers once, brighter, tender, alive. And in that flicker, she hears it again. The rhythm of light, slow and calm, like the steady breathing of the universe. She whispers to the sky, "I will listen." And somewhere among the stars, the Prince of Light whispers back, not in words but in warmth, a promise, glowing softly in the night. Every beginning breathes before it becomes. The princess and the star prince drift between stars, learning how gravity is both an embrace and a pull, the universe's quiet dance partner. They discover how orbits form, how planets hold each other close, and how everything, even the heart, moves in invisible circles of connection. The morning after his light faded, the world feels quieter. The princess wakes before dawn, her room still tinted blue by the sleeping night. Outside her window, the first star lingers, refusing to leave. She stands there, bare feet against the cool floor, and whispers to it, "Are you still there?" The star trembles faintly, a single pulse of silver, and though no voice replies, she feels the hum again. That soft vibration beneath her ribs, like a heartbeat answering her own. She closes her eyes. The air shifts, and when she opens them again, she is no longer in her room. The garden has dissolved into an ocean of stars. She floats weightless, hair drifting like silk in a tide of light. The silence here is vast but not empty. It hums with quiet life, the low, endless music of existence. And there he is, the Star Prince, radiant and calm, waiting among the constellations. His glow is softer now, like moonlight after rain. "You came back," she breathes. He smiles. "You called, and gravity listened." "Gravity?" she repeats, the word slow on her tongue, as if tasting it. "Yes," he says, drifting closer. "It's the gentle pull between everything that exists, the invisible longing that holds the universe together." As he speaks, the stars around them begin to move, slowly at first, then in widening, spiraling arcs. Trails of light curve and weave, forming circles that glow like the ripples from a stone dropped into water. "Watch," he whispers. The princess gazes in wonder. "They're dancing." "They are," he replies. Each star and planet feels the other's pull. They move together, never colliding, always turning, always listening. This is how the universe breathes, in orbits, in balance, in quiet grace. She turns in place, letting the vision unfold. Worlds spin in luminous harmony, great suns at the center, planets twirling around them in vast, patient loops. "Does everything move like this?" she asks. "Everything," he says. "Even light curves when gravity calls. Even your own heart moves in orbits, drawn to warmth, to kindness, to the things it cannot let go of." The princess drifts closer to him, her eyes reflecting starlight. "So we are all part of the same dance?" "Yes," he says softly. "Some move fast, some slow, but none are still. Stillness is only another kind of motion we cannot yet see." His words settle around her like soft snow. "Tell me," she says, "why do some stars pull stronger than others?" He gestures with his hand, and from the darkness rises a swirl of dust and gas, a nebula blooming in color. Within it, tiny sparks begin to flicker. "Because gravity listens to mass," he explains. "The more there is of something, the more it pulls, like love. The more deeply you feel, the more you draw others near." She smiles faintly. "So a star's strength is like its love?" He nods. "In a way. It gathers everything close, shaping harmony out of chaos. That's how planets are born, from the embrace of a star that won't let go." She looks around, at the newborn suns spinning through the nebula. "And what happens when they stop dancing?" The prince's gaze softens. "Then they drift apart, or fall inward. But even endings are just new beginnings waiting for gravity to remember them." He reaches out his hand. "Would you like to see how the dance feels?" Without hesitation, she places her hand in his light, and suddenly the stars are spinning faster. The princess feels herself drawn into motion, graceful, endless motion. She and the star prince drift in a slow spiral, their bodies moving effortlessly through the sea of night. Around them, threads of light arc and twist, the fabric of space itself bending gently beneath their weight. "This," he says, voice barely more than a breath, "is the curve of connection. Every object in the universe shapes the space around it. Nothing exists without leaving a trace." The princess feels her heart steady, her breath align with the rhythm of their turn. "It's beautiful," she whispers. "It's truth," he replies. "You are not separate from the stars. Every atom in your body once belonged to a sun that burned long before your kingdom was born. The iron in your blood, the calcium in your bones, the light in your eyes, all of it was forged in a stellar heart." She blinks, tears floating weightless in the air. "So I am part of this dance too." "You always were," he says. "You just forgot the steps." Their movement slows until they hover before a golden star, pulsing gently. Around it, a blue planet spins, oceans glimmering, clouds swirling softly like white silk. "Is that home?" she asks. "Yes," says the Star Prince. "Your world, kept in motion by the same gravity that holds the stars." The princess reaches out, and the planet turns beneath her fingertips. She can almost feel its heartbeat, the slow pulse of tides, the sigh of winds, the rhythm of life moving across its skin. So everything that falls is only falling toward connection, she murmurs. "Exactly," he says. "Falling is not loss, it's trust." The words settle deep inside her, glowing quietly. Falling is not loss, it's trust. She looks back at the prince. "And you? Do you have your own orbit?" He smiles wistfully. "I did once, around a star that burned too bright. I learned that even light can let go." His voice fades for a moment, tender and distant. The princess watches him, understanding the sadness that hides behind his calm. "Then perhaps," she says gently, "you've just found a new one." He looks at her, truly looks, and the stars around them brighten, as though responding to a truth unspoken. The silence between them stretches, not empty, but full of unvoiced warmth. Finally, he whispers, "Perhaps I have." They drift side by side, watching the great systems turn, galaxies like luminous petals blooming across eternity. Everywhere she looks, she sees circles, motion that never ends, balance that never breaks. "You said orbits are like hearts," she says softly. "Then does love have gravity too?" He smiles, not the small, distant smile of starlight, but something deeper, almost human. The strongest gravity of all. Love bends time itself. It keeps memories alive, pulls souls back together even after light fades. The princess listens, eyes glistening. "So when we miss someone, it's just gravity calling them?" "Exactly," he says. "You never lose what you're drawn to. You only change the distance between you." For a while, they float in silence, the sound of cosmic wind humming like a lullaby. Then the prince gestures ahead. "Do you see that river of light?" She follows his gaze, a stream of countless stars flowing like molten gold through the darkness. "That," he says, "is the Milky Way, the great spiral of your home galaxy. Every sun, every planet, every dream, all part of the same turning." The princess stares, her breath caught in wonder. "It's like a dance with no beginning," he nods. "And no end. Only change. Soft, constant, endless." Her thoughts drift like starlight, of home, of her people sleeping beneath the night sky, unaware of the vast choreography that holds them. She feels small yet infinite, a single note in the song of everything. "Do you ever tire of drifting?" she asks. The prince's eyes glow faintly. "Never. To move is to live. Even stillness is motion waiting to be known." She smiles. "Then teach me how to listen to it." He takes her hand again, guiding her through the starlit current. "Start here," he whispers. "Feel the pull between your breath and the space around you, between your heartbeats and the stars that made them." The princess closes her eyes. She can feel it, a soft tide, gentle but vast, tugging her not away, but inward. In that moment, she understands. Gravity is not just a force. It is a memory of connection, the universe remembering itself. When she opens her eyes, the river of stars drifts beneath her like a lullaby made of light. The Star Prince's voice is quiet now. When you return home, look at the night sky and remember, every motion is an embrace. Even falling leaves are following gravity's song. She nods, heart full and calm. And what comes next? The prince looks ahead, where the stars grow faint and the colors shift to softer hues. Light speaks many languages, he says. It tells stories through color and sound. Would you like to learn how to listen to it? Her answer comes as a whisper. Yes, the stars shimmer, and the path ahead begins to glow in a spectrum of soft hues. Blue, gold, crimson, violet, colors pulsing like music waiting to be heard. They drift forward, two travelers of light and breath, as the cosmic waltz continues. And the last sound you hear before the next dream begins is his voice, calm and bright. Every orbit is a promise, to return, to remember, to glow again. Colors shimmer across the dark, blues, reds, golds, each one a message. The Star Prince shows the princess how light carries stories across impossible distances, just as kindness travels through time. Together they decode the spectrum, learning how starlight reveals a star's soul. The night stretches endlessly, soft and deep, like silk scattered with jewels. The princess and the Star Prince drift through it, quiet companions moving through the hush between constellations. Everywhere light speaks, not in words, but in color. The princess watches how it glows. One star burning pale and silver, another blazing with orange warmth, another shimmering blue like frozen fire. She tilts her head, the question forming gently on her lips. Why do they shine so differently? The Star Prince turns, his face touched by the spectrum. Because every star has its own song, he says. And every song has its color. She listens. A faint hum seems to fill the air. A resonance she can feel more than hear, low and endless, like the memory of a lullaby. Color, he continues softly, is how light tells its story. Red light moves slowly like an ancient river. Blue light moves quickly like laughter. Gold rests in between, warm and steady, the color of understanding. The princess looks down at her hands. Light slides across her skin, changing from rose to amber to silver as they pass through unseen waves. So light has moods, she says. Exactly, he whispers. And every being that shines leaves behind a color, a reflection of how they loved, how they lived, how they dreamed. The princess thinks of her world below, the way the sun paints everything gold at dusk. Then our light too must have meaning, she says. It does, the prince answers. Even when it fades, light never disappears. It only changes its journey. For a moment they float in silence, watching a nearby star flicker with faint crimson tones. The princess feels a strange ache in her chest, a softness, a memory she can't name. Do stars ever stop shining? She asks. They rest, he replies gently. When their song grows too full, they release it into the universe, in waves of beauty that travel forever. That is how the cosmos remembers them, she smiles faintly. So their stories never end. No, he says, his eyes tender. Light is memory that keeps traveling. They drift closer to a cluster of stars, glowing like a bouquet of fireflies caught in a cosmic breeze. The air feels thick with quiet joy. Each color, the Star Prince says, is also a feeling. Blue is thought. Red is heart. Gold is harmony. Together, they make the spectrum, the whole story of being. He extends his hand, and a single beam of light bends toward them, splitting softly into colors. It stretches across the void like a ribbon. The princess gasps. "A rainbow in the dark." "Yes," he smiles. "Even in darkness, light finds a way to speak." The ribbon sways gently between them. As she reaches out, colors spill through her fingers, cool and warm at once. Alive. "What is it saying?" She whispers. The prince tilts his head. "It says, 'You are seen.'" Her breath catches. "Seen?" He nods. "Every time you look up, the light that touches your eyes began its journey long ago, perhaps before your kingdom was even born. When you see the stars, they see you back. Their light touches you just as yours touches them." Her gaze drifts upward. The endless canopy of stars suddenly feels closer, almost intimate. "Then when I wish on a star," she murmurs, "it's not so far away." "No," he says softly. "Wishing is just another form of listening." The princess closes her eyes and the silence fills with light. She feels warmth ripple through her, not heat, but something gentler. A memory of home, of her mother's lullabies, of candlelight dancing on her walls. "Light travels," the prince continues. "It carries every smile, every kindness, every act of love. When you do something good, that light leaves you and moves on, unseen but eternal. Somewhere, someone else feels it and doesn't even know why they suddenly feel safe." She opens her eyes, and they glisten. "Then kindness is a kind of light, too." "The brightest kind," he says. A comet drifts nearby, trailing pale fire. Its light is not sharp but soft, like a whisper. The princess watches it fade into distance, its glow spreading until it becomes part of the stars. "So even the smallest spark," she says, "becomes part of the sky." "Always," he replies. "That's the secret the universe keeps repeating. No light is ever wasted." For a while they say nothing. The stars hum softly around them, endless and tender. Then the princess speaks again, her voice almost a breath. "If everything shines in its own color, what color am I?" The star prince looks at her for a long, quiet moment. "You," he says finally, "are the color of dawn. The moment light meets breath. The space between night and morning, where everything begins to glow again." Her heart lifts. The color of dawn, gentle, hopeful, endless. He smiles faintly. "That's why I found you." His words settle over her like falling petals. They drift onward, following the rainbow ribbon of light. Around them, the universe seems to brighten, each star a voice, each color a story. And the princess begins to hear it, not with her ears, but with her whole being. The soft conversation of galaxies, the golden laughter of stars, the quiet sigh of blue worlds turning in their sleep. The star prince's voice comes again, lower now, as though from within the light itself. Once you learn to listen, you'll hear it everywhere, even when you close your eyes. Her eyelids grow heavy. The light wraps around her like silk, a warm cocoon of color and calm. "Rest," he murmurs. "Let the language of light sing you to sleep. Tomorrow I will show you how it travels through time, carrying every color, every story, every heartbeat that ever was." The last thing she sees before drifting into dreams is the reflection of starlight in his eyes. Infinite, tender, eternal, and somewhere in the distance, beyond the colors and calm, the first note of time begins to hum, slow, steady, patient, calling them toward the next horizon. The princess dreamed she was floating upon a river made of stars. Its surface shimmered not with water but with light, soft, gliding waves that carried her through eternity. When she woke, the dream was still around her. The Star Prince stood nearby, his gaze fixed on a slow swirl of galaxies ahead. Their light was pale and ancient, like the whisper of memory. "Where are we?" she asked softly. He smiled. "We are standing at the edge of time." The words rippled through her. "Time has an edge?" "In a way," he said. "Here, you can see how light carries time within it, how every shimmer you see began long before your first breath." He motioned toward the distance, where countless points of brightness glowed across a velvet dark. "Every star you see," he said gently, "is a message from the past." That light began its journey hundreds, thousands, even millions of years ago. When you look up, you're not just seeing stars. You're seeing what once was. The princess's breath caught. "So when I wish upon a star, you're wishing upon history," he finished softly. "Light is a traveler that never forgets." They floated deeper into the starlit current. Around them, the light shimmered in slow spirals, carrying faint patterns like threads of music and memory. "Is that what this is?" she asked, watching the flow of brightness beneath her feet. "The river?" "Yes," said the Star Prince. "The river of time. Every drop of light is a moment, moving endlessly forward, even as it remembers where it came from." The princess knelt, her reflection bending in the silver glow. She could see herself, but also faintly. She thought she saw younger versions, a child chasing butterflies, a girl watching storms from her window, a daughter listening to bedtime stories. Each version shimmered in and out like ripples in light. "Am I all of them?" she whispered. He nodded. "Light does not forget the shapes it once took. You are every moment you have ever been." Her eyes filled with quiet wonder. "Then time isn't just something that moves past us. It's something that moves through us." Exactly. They drifted on, the cosmos around them like a vast cathedral made of glow and silence. The river curved, and in the bend they saw a galaxy reflected upon its surface, bright arms spinning like a dancer frozen mid-turn. The princess touched the light. "If this is time, does it have an end?" The prince's eyes softened. "Not truly. Time is circular in its own way. It bends and loops, like the way dawn always follows night, and night always follows dawn." He paused, then added, "But every being experiences time differently. To a mountain, a century is a sigh. To a butterfly, a moment is forever. The secret," he said, "is to live as if every heartbeat is both, eternal and fleeting." The princess closed her eyes, letting the meaning sink into her. The rhythm of her pulse seemed to echo with the stars, slow, steady, unhurried. "Then what are memories?" she asked at last. "Are they the way we hold on to time?" The Star Prince smiled faintly. "They are light that chooses to stay." A comet glided overhead, shedding a trail of silver dust. It glittered like tears that never fell. "Some memories stay close," he said. "Others travel on, until they find a new heart to rest in." She looked up, following the comet's arc until it vanished into a dark sea of stars. Then maybe every story ever told still lives somewhere in the sky. He turned to her, his expression tender. Yes, stories are how hearts travel through time. They came upon a region where the river seemed to slow. Floating in it were fragments, shimmering like glass, yet soft as thought. Each fragment showed a scene: a child planting a tree, an old man laughing by firelight, a bird rising from snow. "What are these?" she asked, reaching out. "Echoes," he said. "Moments that meant something. The universe keeps them, not as sound or sight, but as resonance. Every joy, every kindness, every act of love leaves an imprint on the fabric of time." The princess gazed at the glowing fragments drifting by. Each one seemed to sing faintly, a note in the endless song. She felt her heart ache, not from sadness but from beauty too large to hold. "Can we ever return to a moment?" she asked quietly. The Star Prince looked into the light. "Not with our bodies, but with memory, with feeling, yes. Every time you remember with love, you bend the river just a little, and for a heartbeat, time listens." Her eyes shimmered. "Then love can travel backward?" He smiled. "Love travels both ways. It's the only thing that does." The river deepened. The light beneath them grew denser, turning gold. The stars above seemed to move slower, as though the universe itself were exhaling. "This is the deep current," he murmured. "Here, time and light become one. To look too closely is to see everything, past, present, and what might be." The princess hesitated. "Will it hurt?" He shook his head. "No, but it will remind you of everything you've forgotten." She took a slow breath. "Then I'm ready." Together they stepped into the golden current. The light rose around them like a tide, warm and weightless. The princess felt her thoughts unfold, as if her heart had doors she'd never opened. She saw herself walking under the evening sky as a child, tracing constellations her mother had taught her. She saw her kingdom asleep in candlelight, unaware of the galaxies that watched above. She saw herself standing beside the Star Prince, and she saw, faintly, a moment yet to come. Her returning home, carrying the starlight in her hands. When she opened her eyes, she was weeping softly, but her tears glowed like pearls. "What did you see?" he asked gently. "Everything that mattered," she whispered, "and everything I'm still becoming." He nodded, and his own light seemed warmer, softer. "That's the truth hidden in the river. Time isn't something we pass through. It's something that flows within us. Every second is a door. Every memory is a star." They stood in silence as the current carried them onward. At last, the Star Prince spoke again. "There is one more truth," he said quietly. "Do you know what lies beyond the river?" The princess looked at him. "What?" He smiled, not sadly, but as one who knows both beginnings and endings. "The Sea of Tomorrow. It's where light goes when it's ready to become something new." Her eyes widened. "Can we go there?" "Not yet," he said softly. "First, you must understand what it means to shine." The river began to slow, its light thinning into soft ripples of silver mist. Around them, constellations shimmered faintly, as if listening. The princess turned, gazing once more at the river behind them. Its path glowed like a memory written across the sky. "So this is what time looks like," she whispered. "Yes," said the Star Prince. "And you, my princess, are part of its flow now. Every kindness, every dream, every heartbeat, You've added your light to it." He raised his hand, and the mist before them parted, revealing a new horizon, pale and luminous. "Come," he said. "It's time to meet the sea." The princess hesitated, glancing back one last time. The river glowed softly behind her, carrying the echoes of everything that had ever been. She smiled and stepped forward. The river widened until it no longer looked like a river at all. It opened into an endless expanse of shimmering light, a calm, glowing ocean where the stars seemed to float upon the surface like lanterns at rest. The princess stood at its edge, her reflection melting softly into the glow. She could not tell where sky ended and sea began. Both seemed to breathe together, one vast living silence. Beside her, the Star Prince whispered, "Welcome to the Sea of Tomorrow." The words drifted through the air like mist. "What is it?" she asked. He smiled. "It's the place where light becomes possibility. Every star that fades, every dream that ends, every question that's left unanswered, they all come here. And from their quiet, new beginnings are born." She looked closer. The sea was not still. Beneath its silver calm, there were soft movements, spirals, ripples, shapes that changed and disappeared before she could name them. "It feels alive," she said. "It is," he replied. "This sea holds the seeds of future stars. Every drop contains the memory of light that once was, waiting to shine again." He reached down, letting a handful of glowing liquid slip between his fingers. "See this? These are atoms, hydrogen, helium, and traces of all that once burned in the hearts of suns. Even when a star dies, its pieces remain. Nothing is ever lost. It only changes form." The princess knelt beside him, watching the luminous flow. Each droplet sparkled with miniature constellations, like 1,000 memories of light. "So, this is where everything begins again?" she asked softly. "Yes," said the Star Prince. "From the ashes of what was, the universe dreams anew." He lifted his gaze to the horizon, where waves of radiance rose and fell in slow motion, as if time itself had learned to breathe. "This is how galaxies are born," he said. "From chaos into harmony, from silence into song." The princess closed her eyes and listened. The sea was not silent after all. It hummed, deep and low, a sound that felt more like a heartbeat than a voice. "What do you hear?" he asked gently. "Something steady," she whispered, "like the universe remembering itself." He nodded. "That's the cosmic background, the afterglow of the very first light. It still echoes even now across all space." She looked up, and for a moment she imagined the dawn of time, a vast darkness trembling, then bursting into radiance. She saw clouds of gas swirling like breath, forming suns that glowed with newborn fire. The Sea of Tomorrow shimmered around her, as though it too remembered. "I think I understand," she said. "Everything is made from what came before." The Star Prince's eyes softened. "Yes, you, me, your kingdom, every stone and leaf, all born from starlight that once lived and died and shone again." The princess touched her chest, feeling her heartbeat echo with the rhythm of the sea. "Then even I," she whispered, "am a small piece of forever." He smiled, and the glow around them deepened into gold. "Exactly. You are made of the universe remembering its own beauty." They began to walk along the shore, though it was not made of sand, but of light particles, fine and warm beneath her feet. In the distance, great waves rolled gently, their crests shimmering with galaxies that had not yet come to be. "What will they become?" she asked, pointing to one wave that glowed blue. "Perhaps a cluster of stars," said the prince, "or maybe a single brilliant sun with worlds of its own. The sea doesn't decide right away. It listens to what the light wishes to become." The princess tilted her head. "Light can wish? Not in words," he said, "but in movement, in the way it flows and gathers. Even creation has its quiet desires." She watched the blue wave shimmer closer, its light brushing her fingertips. For a moment, she felt something, a pulse of warmth, a sense of becoming. "It feels like hope," she said. He nodded. "That's what it is," the princess smiled. "Then hope must be made of starlight too." They stood together as the waves lapped softly against their ankles. The sea of tomorrow felt endless but not empty. Each ripple seemed to carry the promise of new beginnings, the hush before a song begins. "Do the stars know," she asked, "that they'll be reborn?" The prince looked toward the glowing expanse. "Perhaps not, but I think they trust the light." He turned to her. "And that's all any of us can do. Trust that what we give will return, changed, but shining still." She thought of her own world far away, the gardens of her kingdom, the quiet people asleep under the night sky, unaware that their very breath was borrowed from ancient stars. A small ache filled her heart, but it was sweet. "When I go home," she said softly, "I'll tell them that every dawn is starlight finding its way back." The Star Prince smiled. "They'll feel it, even if they don't yet understand." The waves glowed brighter for a moment, as though the sea itself approved. They continued walking until they reached a place where the light deepened to a quiet blue. There, at the center of the sea, stood something vast, a whirlpool of pure radiance, spinning slowly and silently. "What is that?" the princess whispered. "The heart of tomorrow," said the prince. "It's where new stars are born, where old light gathers and learns to shine again." The princess felt her pulse quicken. "Can I see it up close?" He nodded. "If you look with your heart, you already are." She took a slow breath and closed her eyes. Immediately, warmth surrounded her. She saw tiny sparks, atoms colliding, merging, igniting. She felt the weight of gravity, the tension of birth, the joy of becoming. She felt herself expand, from a single particle into a constellation of meaning. When she opened her eyes, tears shimmered on her cheeks. "It's beautiful," she whispered. "It feels like the universe is breathing." "It is," said the Star Prince. "Creation is the universe exhaling, and you are part of that breath." They stood in silence, watching as the golden light spun softly, gathering brightness like a promise. Then, as if in answer to her thoughts, one small star burst to life within the whirlpool, faint at first, then growing steadier, pulsing with warmth. The princess gasped. "It's being born," the prince smiled. "A new sun, its first heartbeat." She watched in awe. Around it, new dust began to swirl, forming the beginnings of planets, moons, and endless possibilities. "How long will it live?" she asked. "Perhaps billions of years," said the prince. "Long enough for stories to unfold. Long enough for life to begin. Maybe even for someone else, somewhere, to look up and wonder who they are." The princess's eyes softened. "So the sea gives birth to wonder?" "It does," he said quietly. "And wonder gives birth to love." They lingered there for a long while, until the light of the newborn star steadied into a soft, rhythmic glow. Finally, the Star Prince turned to her. "Are you ready to go back?" She hesitated. "I don't want to leave." "You won't," he said. "You'll carry this light within you, and when you look at the night sky, you'll see it again, reflected in your own heart." The princess looked once more at the vast sea of tomorrow, its endless shimmer, its gentle hum, its quiet strength. She could feel its rhythm inside her, like a lullaby written before time began. "I'll remember," she whispered. He smiled, offering his hand. "Then let's follow where the light leads next." They stepped away from the sea's edge. Behind them the waves sighed, not in farewell, but in blessing. And as they drifted toward a horizon that glowed with soft, pale gold, the princess thought she heard a whisper rising from the sea of tomorrow. "What you dream today becomes the light of another tomorrow." The journey back toward home began in silence. Not the silence of emptiness, but of peace, the kind that comes when the stars seem to breathe in rhythm with your thoughts. The princess floated beside the Star Prince, her gown trailing like a ribbon of light behind her. Ahead, a gentle sphere rose out of the darkness, pale, glowing, quiet. "The moon," she whispered. Her voice trembled with recognition. It was familiar, yet she saw it now with new eyes. Not just a face in the sky, but a world with its own quiet pulse. The Star Prince nodded. "She's been watching you your whole life." The princess smiled faintly. "She feels asleep." "She is resting," said the prince. "But even in her rest, she moves the world." They drifted closer until the silvery plains of the moon stretched out beneath them. Seas of dust, mountains shaped by memory, and craters that looked like frozen ripples on a pond. The surface shimmered softly, bathed in starlight reflected from distant suns. "Why does she pull the sea?" asked the princess, gazing down. The prince looked thoughtful. "The moon has her own kind of magic, gravity. It's not a spell, but a pull. She reaches out to your world with invisible hands, and the oceans rise to greet her." The princess imagined it, waves bowing toward the moon, then retreating as she drifted away. "So the tides are the earth's heartbeat," she said softly. He smiled. "Yes, the moon listens, and the earth responds. Together they dance in quiet rhythm, an endless waltz of motion and stillness." They landed gently upon the surface. The ground felt soft, powdered like dream dust. When she looked up, she saw her world glowing far away, a blue and white marble turning slowly in the dark. "It's beautiful," she whispered. "So fragile and yet alive." The prince followed her gaze. "That's because balance keeps it alive. The moon steadies your world. Without her, the earth would wobble and the seasons would lose their gentle rhythm. The nights would shift too quickly. The oceans would rage." The princess traced a small line in the dust with her fingertip. "So she is like a guardian," he nodded. "A quiet one. She asks for nothing but gives everything." For a while they sat in silence. The air, or the absence of it, seemed to hum. There was no wind, no sound of waves, yet the princess could feel movement all around her. "Even here," she said, "I can sense tides." The Star Prince smiled. Because gravity doesn't end. It connects all things, stars, moons, hearts. You feel the moon because you too are made of what moves. She looked up, and her reflection shimmered faintly in his eyes. Then gravity is love, she whispered. He nodded, his voice barely a breath. Exactly. The pull that keeps everything from drifting apart. The princess thought about her home again, her people sleeping under the silver glow, unaware that their dreams were guided by this quiet companion above. She keeps us steady, she murmured, even when we forget to look at her. Yes, said the prince. Just as the stars keep their promises, even when hidden by clouds. They began to walk along a ridge, where the ground sloped gently toward a vast plain known as the Sea of Tranquility. The horizon glowed faintly, where sunlight touched the edge of the moon's day. The princess turned to the prince. Why do we see only one side of her? Because she moves in harmony with your world, he said. As she orbits, she turns just enough to keep her same face toward you, a promise she's kept for billions of years, the princess smiled. A promise to never turn away. The prince's expression softened. Every bond in the universe is a kind of orbit. Two things held together by gravity, by care. Sometimes near, sometimes far, but always connected. She watched the earth rise above the horizon, blue, glowing, alive. Her heart ached softly. Do you think she misses us when we sleep? The star prince followed her gaze. The moon doesn't need to miss you, he said gently, because she's never truly apart from you. Every tide is her touch, every night her gaze. The princess closed her eyes. In her mind, she could feel it, the tug beneath her ribs, the same rhythm that moved oceans and guided stars. It was quiet, constant and endless. The tides inside us, she whispered. Move just like the seas, the prince smiled. Yes, your heartbeat, your breath, your thoughts, all rise and fall, just as the waves do. You are never separate from the dance. She touched her chest, feeling the calm pulse beneath her hand. Then even when I'm still, I'm part of the motion, he nodded. Stillness is only motion slowed into peace. They stood side by side, watching the earth spin, clouds curling like silk, sunlight gliding over continents, night slipping gently into day. Everything moves together, the princess murmured, even dreams. Especially dreams, said the prince. They follow the same tides, drawn by unseen moons. The princess smiled at that, her eyes heavy with warmth. Then maybe that's why we sleep, to drift on those tides, the star prince nodded. Sleep is how your mind aligns with the rhythm of the cosmos, each breath syncing with the rise and fall of the world. A long pause followed, quiet, luminous, full. Then the star prince spoke again, softly. Would you like to hear her lullaby? The moon's? She asked. He nodded. She hums it every night, but few ever truly listen. He placed his hand lightly on the surface beside them. The princess did the same. And then, faintly, like an echo from another world, she heard it. A vibration, soft and low, pulsed through the dust. It wasn't a song of words, but of movement, the rhythm of orbit, the sigh of gravity, the whisper of time itself flowing slow and sure. Tears welled in her eyes. It's beautiful, she said. It's the music of connection, he replied. The same song your heart has always known. The princess leaned her head against his shoulder, and for a moment, they simply listened, two beings resting between worlds, suspended in harmony. Far below, the tides moved gently, rising and falling as though in time with their breathing, and for the first time, the princess understood that she had never been separate from the sky. She had always been part of its quiet rhythm. As she drifted into drowsy calm, she whispered, "The moon is asleep." "And so am I." The Star Prince smiled, his voice fading into the silver air. "Sleep, little tide," he murmured, "for the world still turns, and the next light waits to rise." The moon faded slowly behind them, like a lantern dimming at dawn. The princess and the Star Prince drifted onward through the quiet dark, not toward brightness, but toward mystery. All around them, the sky seemed emptier here. The stars were fewer, and the space between them vast and shadowed. Yet the darkness was not frightening. It felt full, waiting, as if something ancient slept within it. Then, far ahead, a shimmer appeared. A thread of light, faint at first, then growing, bending and curling through the night like a silver vine. The princess leaned forward. "What is that?" The Star Prince smiled. "The trail of a traveler. We are nearing the Garden of Comets." "Garden?" she echoed softly. "But it looks so wild." He nodded. "That's what makes it beautiful. Every garden in the universe has its own kind of order. Some bloom in soil, others in starlight. As they drew closer, the darkness came alive. Comets drifted like blossoms of ice and fire, their long tails flowing behind them in luminous arcs. They moved slowly, gracefully, not chaotic, but deliberate, as if each knew its place in the great dance. The princess gasped. "They're glowing!" "Yes," said the Star Prince. "Each comet is made of ancient ice, water, dust, and fragments of light from the beginning of the world. When they wander close to the sun, the warmth awakens them, the ice turns to vapor, and their tails begin to shine." "So they wake when they feel the sun?" He smiled. "Exactly. They are dreamers of the cold, sleeping for ages, then blazing awake when touched by warmth." The princess watched one pass nearby, its tail trailing a long ribbon of silver. "Do they ever stop traveling?" "They rest for a time," said the prince, "but even in rest, they move. Their paths are long, years, centuries, millennia. They circle the stars endlessly, carrying stories from one age to another." "Stories?" she asked, tilting her head. "Yes," he said. "Each comet carries within it the memory of creation, frozen dust from the birth of the solar system. Some even carry water, the same water that once fell as rain in your kingdom, that fills your rivers and oceans." Her eyes widened. "So the water on Earth came from travelers like these," he finished. "The comets brought it long ago, scattering it like seeds. Without them, your world would have been dry and silent." The princess looked again at the drifting lights, her voice barely a whisper. "Then we owe them life." The Star Prince nodded. "Every drop you drink, every tear you shed, every ocean wave, all once belonged to these wanderers." The thought filled her with awe. The comets no longer seemed distant. They felt like ancient guardians, silent and selfless. They moved deeper into the glowing field, where hundreds of comets arched and crossed paths, their tails weaving luminous threads that painted the dark like a living tapestry. The princess spun slowly, her dress catching the starlight. "It's like a garden made of time itself," she said. "That's why it's called the secret garden," said the prince. "Because it holds the oldest stories, too far away, too slow for most eyes to see." They paused beside a great comet, its surface shimmering with frost. The Star Prince placed his hand upon it. "This one is older than your moon," he said softly. "It has traveled around the sun hundreds of times. Each journey it loses a little of itself, a little ice, a little dust, but it never complains. It simply shines while it can." The princess touched the surface beside his hand. It was cold, but not unkind. The kind of cold that carries peace. "Do they know they fade?" she asked. "Perhaps," said the prince. "But fading is only another way of giving. Each time a comet passes, it leaves a trail behind. Particles that fall through the skies of planets. When you see a shooting star on your world, it's a gift from them. A piece of their story becoming part of yours." She smiled softly. "So every wish is a way of saying thank you." The prince nodded. "Yes. And every spark that falls reminds the night that nothing is truly lost." They sat together on the comet's back as it drifted slowly through the dark. The princess watched the trails it left behind, glowing faintly in the distance. "It's strange," she said after a while. "They wander so far, yet they seem content." "They are," he said, "because they know their journey has meaning. They carry the beginnings of worlds wherever they go. And they never hurry. They move at the pace of eternity." The princess rested her chin on her knees. "I wish I could move like that. Slowly, but always toward something beautiful. You already do," he said gently. "Every thought, every kindness, every breath you take, it moves outward, touching things you'll never see. You are a comet too in your own way." She smiled, her eyes shimmering. "Then perhaps my light will help someone find their way someday." The prince's gaze softened. "It already does." A long, serene silence followed. Around them, the comets drifted in unison, their trails mingling like rivers of memory. "Will they ever stop shining?" she asked. "When their journeys end," he said, "they fall into the sun. And in that final moment, they give back everything they've carried: water, dust, light, and memory. The sun burns brighter for it. The end becomes a beginning again." "So even their end brings light," she whispered. "Yes," said the prince. "That's the promise of the universe, that every path, no matter how long, returns to the source of warmth." The princess looked toward the distant glow of her own sun, a faint spark on the horizon of space. It seemed so small, yet it called to her, gentle and certain. She closed her eyes and felt the warmth of that light on her face, faint but real. "Traveling across impossible distance. I think I understand," she said quietly. "We are all travelers, carrying what we love until it becomes light again." The Star Prince smiled. "You understand perfectly." They lingered there, surrounded by the quiet grace of comets, until the light of the sun began to brush the far edge of the garden. One by one, the wanderers glowed brighter, their icy surfaces awakening to the call of warmth. The princess watched as they flared, each one releasing a breath of vapor, a sigh of brilliance, as if the entire garden were exhaling in unison. And in that moment, the space around them looked alive, rivers of light flowing, colliding, weaving through the dark. The Star Prince took her hand. "Come," he said softly. "It's time to follow the morning." They rose together, lifting through the glowing trails. Below them, the garden shimmered one last time, a field of memory, fire, and renewal. The princess looked down and whispered, "Thank you." The light flickered, as if answering her, and as they left the secret garden behind, the first rays of dawn touched her face. It felt warm, familiar, like home calling her name. The dawn was not a sound, but a feeling. A hush spread through the stars, like the sky itself was taking a breath. The princess and the star prince floated side by side through the thinning dark, their path lit by the first shy rays of light rising from her home world far below. For a long while, neither spoke. The stars around them began to fade, but not in sorrow. They dimmed like lanterns after a long vigil, proud of what they had seen. Finally, the princess whispered, "It's beautiful, but it feels like a goodbye." The star prince turned to her, his silver eyes warm. "Every dawn is both," he said. "An ending that shines like a beginning." She looked toward her kingdom, the mountains, the rivers, the sleeping villages that waited beneath soft morning clouds. It all seemed smaller now, but somehow brighter. "Will I remember this?" she asked. "You already have," he said. "You carry it in your heart like a reflection in water. It will return to you in dreams, in starlight, in the quiet between breaths." The princess smiled faintly. "That sounds like magic." "It's just light," he said gently. "But light is the oldest kind of magic there is." They drifted closer to the edge of the atmosphere, where the air shimmered faintly, a veil of color and wind. The princess could feel her body becoming lighter, her heartbeat soft and slow, like the rhythm of waves. The star prince placed his hand over hers. "Do you hear it?" She listened. At first there was only silence. Then a deep humming sound, faint but endless, filled the space around her. It was the music of sunlight touching air, the whisper of dawn weaving through clouds. "It's your world," he said. "It's calling you home." Her eyes filled with wonder. "I didn't know it had a voice." "Every world does," he said softly. "You just have to listen closely enough." She looked at him then, the glow in his hair, the way the light curved around his form, almost transparent now. "You're fading," she said quietly. He smiled, calm as ever. "I am light, remember? I go where it is needed. But I don't want to forget you." "You won't," he promised. "Every time you see a star, you'll see me. Every time you look at the moon, you'll find our story waiting there." A tear slipped down her cheek, but it wasn't sad. It sparkled as it floated, catching the dawn like a tiny prism. He reached out and caught it, holding it between his fingers. "Even tears become light," he whispered. "Nothing beautiful ever truly disappears." The world below brightened, blues and golds spreading like watercolor. She could see her castle's spires glinting, her gardens sparkling with dew. "Will I dream of you again?" she asked. "Always," he said. "Dreams are bridges, and ours was built to last." She closed her eyes for a moment, breathing in the warmth. The scent of her world, grass, rain, morning wind, drifted upward to meet her. It felt like being wrapped in a memory. When she opened her eyes, he was a shimmer, radiant, almost gone. "I'll keep the promise," she said softly. "To look for the light even when it's far away." He nodded. "And I'll keep shining, so you'll always find your way." For a moment, time seemed to pause. The first sunbeam rose above the horizon, painting the sky in soft gold. It passed through her hair, through her hands, through him, and in that light, she saw everything at once: the comets, the moon's quiet face, the river of stars they had crossed. And then the Star Prince was gone, not vanished, but transformed, his light scattering gently across the sky like the first morning star. The princess felt no emptiness, only a deep, peaceful fullness. The way the sea must feel when the tide returns home. She drifted downward through the soft blue haze, her eyes half closed. The wind held her, the warmth of dawn carried her. When her feet touched the earth again, it was as if she had never left. Her garden shimmered in the pale light. Every flower seemed to glow with memory. The fountain whispered softly, the same tune she had once heard in the rhythm of the stars. The castle was still asleep, the kingdom quiet beneath its morning blanket. The princess walked through the dew-drenched paths, her fingertips grazing petals. Each drop of water caught the sunlight and sparkled, little mirrors, little stars. She sat beneath her favorite willow, the same one she had looked up from on the night her journey began. Above her the sky was pale, but she could still see one faint star, lingering, patient, bright. Her heart lifted. "Good morning," she whispered. For a moment, it seemed to shimmer a little brighter, as if answering her. She closed her eyes, leaning back against the tree. The rustle of its leaves sounded like the soft hum of the cosmos, and as she drifted toward sleep once more, she felt the universe breathing with her, quiet, steady, infinite. In her dreams, she stood again in the garden of the moon, the Star Prince beside her. They didn't speak. They didn't need to. The silence between them was full of light. He smiled and pointed toward the horizon. "Do you see it?" She turned, and there, rising once again, was the dawn. Endless, returning, promising. The night has drifted to its quiet end. And so, our journey with the princess and the Star Prince comes to rest beneath the morning sky. You've traveled through galaxies of light, through dreams made of stardust and time. And now, as the stars fade and the world awakens, you carry their glow inside you. A reminder that even in the darkest night, light always finds its way home. Take a deep breath. Let your body grow still. Let your thoughts drift like clouds toward morning, because you, too, are made of the same gentle light that fills the sky, a sparkle of the universe, resting, dreaming, shining. Good night, little dreamer. May your dreams be soft, your heart be calm, and your light always return with the dawn.